Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Walking Dead video. So today's a very big day. I apologize that I didn't get any video out yesterday. I was just very busy with a lot of stuff. So I had the Q&A coming out today. I decided that I'll do this one super early, get this one out. There's going to be a lot to talk about later on. Comic-Con is today. There's going to be a Rick and Michonne teaser trailer coming out today. So definitely make sure to be a subscriber if you want to get all my Walking Dead content, breaking everything down. Like again, all of that will be out later on this evening. I'll break down the Rick and Michonne trailer first, and then we'll get into some other stuff that they do announce, other teasers, this and that. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of videos coming out this evening and stuff, and sort of going into, I guess Friday, Saturday, and Sunday as we build up towards the finale of The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon. So definitely make sure to go follow me on Twitch, because I will actually be live streaming and reacting to the event. I'll be reacting to all the news that drops, and yeah, it should be a lot of fun. Honestly, I'm very hyped to see the reaction from everybody. I want to see how much we do get of this teaser trailer, if there's, you know, just a lot more footage, if we see Rick inside the CRM, or like exactly what we get. Is it going to be something similar to the Comic-Con teaser? It can't be. Like, it has to be a lot more than that. Like, that was 3 months ago. And are we going to get the same exact thing 3 months later? So I just think it's a little ridiculous. So I don't know. I think at this event, we could get the release date for Rick and Michonne. Quite a bit of stuff, casting information. There's a lot here. So definitely go follow me on Twitch. I will be live streaming and reacting to all the news around, like, I would say like 4:30 Eastern. Around that time anyways, between 4:30 and 5 p.m. Eastern today. So that's just a couple of hours from now. And yeah, I'll be live streaming the entire event. It's like 2 hours long. So I'll be reacting to all the news and obviously sort of giving a live reaction for you guys. We'll have some discussions. I'll answer your guys' questions and all of that on everything. And yeah, then we'll get into the breakdown and all of that, and I'll post all my videos here on YouTube. So go follow me on Twitch. My channel name is Appetite for the Dead. The link will be in the description, and also definitely subscribe here on YouTube if you want to get all my breakdowns and all of that. So let's get into the Q&A here on Discord. So the first question here: do you think we'll get Carol's point of view for the scene when she was talking on the radio in the finale? I think that no, I don't think we'll get that. I think that to get that right now would be a lot, considering that Carol, I feel like if we see her at all, it's going to be the very ending scene, and we'll just see her in France. And I don't think we're going to get any sort of explanation as to how she got there. I don't think it's going to be a whole Carol episode or anything like that. I think that that's basically kind of it. I think maybe we'll get an explanation in season 2, but I also don't really see that. I feel like there's kind of no point at this point. Like, I just think that's a scene where Daryl will just ask Carol, like, who did you mention, kind of thing. And I feel like we'll just kind of get that. Q&A, other than Rick, who do you think Carol might have mentioned? Well, I feel like at this point, honestly, the best option, like I was thinking it was Rick and Michonne, and I still think it's a very high chance that it is. I'm leaning more towards Dwight or Morgan right now, to be honest, just because the way she's talking in that scene, she's very sad, and it just kind of makes sense that it probably would be Dwight or Morgan. Like, she just kind of says, like, you know, because there's static, so it says whatever, came back. I feel like she's just kind of saying, like, Dwight came back. You know, if she says Morgan came back, I don't know why she would be so sad about it, but there could be just some stress with that, you know, just because of their past, this and that and whatever. But saying Dwight came back, I think makes a lot of sense. You know, I think that could set up season 2 of Dead City. There's some connection there. And that's just honestly, like, it sets up a lot. Like, it really does. And it creates a lot of excitement, obviously, for Dead City season 2. So I think that makes quite a bit of sense, in my opinion. Yeah. Q&A, if Isabel does accept Madame Genet's offer, do you think season 2 will be Daryl trying to get Isabel and Laurent out of there? I don't think it's going to actually be that. Based off of the trailer and based off of some of the footage for episode 6 here, the finale, I think she just completely refuses the offer. I think they escape this place. And we'll have to wait and see what happens in season 2. I'm going to do a video talking about Isabel's death, unless I run into a question here that actually talks about that, then I'll get my thoughts on it here. But I do want to do a video talking about Isabel's death, because I feel like it might actually happen. And yeah, but I don't think she's going to accept the offer. And I think they will make it to the nest, but there's this feeling I have that Isabel will die at the nest. And yeah, but I'll talk about that in that video. Q&A, why do you think Carol sounds kind of off or sad/off when Daryl was talking to her? Again, that's kind of what I was talking about before. Like, I know, like, the day before the episode came out, there was, like, all these leaks online or whatever, and I was sort of, like, when I read it, I was like, oh, that's very interesting, but I'm not gonna, like, react to it too much, because obviously, like, seeing that, there's so much context that's missing in that, in terms of emotion, and and all of that is just words, right? And when you're reading the script or whatever that leaked online, it's just like, obviously it really sounds like they mean Rick or Michonne, right? Like it really comes across like that because first of all, you don't know the timing of it. That's why I don't think it's Rick and Michonne, because it's just like the time there in which she says whatever she says is very, very short. There's no way she said Rick and Michonne. Like, it's way too fast because all you hear is came back. Like, it's so fast. There's no way she was like, Rick and Michonne came back. Like, there's just no way, right? So I don't think it was both Rick and Michonne that she was referencing there. And I don't even think it was Rick and Michonne. Like, I'm starting to lean more towards Dwight and Morgan because she sounds so sad about it. And I think it just makes sense that it could be Dwight because I think it would be crazy if it was Rick. I mean, maybe we'll be wrong. Maybe I'll be proven wrong later today if there's, you know, at Comic-Con they confirm something. I just think that it's way too obvious for it to be Rick, that it's just like, they're not going to give us that. Like, when do they ever give us information like that? You know? So I don't think it was Rick. I really don't. There's no way the Daryl show is going to go on for 5 seasons. Daryl finds out in season 2 that he actually did make it home, but then he can't go back home yet for like 3 or 4 seasons. Like, there's no way that's going to be a thing. That's just a lot. Like, we're going to be waiting how many seasons at that point? 3, 4 seasons, right? Of Daryl like doing whatever and then just kind of waiting for him to make it back home. That's just a lot. Like, that is a lot to happen there. So no, I don't believe that's going to happen. But yeah, next question. Q&A. If it is Rick that came back, then why would only Carol go to find Daryl? Meaning Carol in season 2 and no Rick, unless they keep it a secret for season 2's ending. I mean, I don't see Rick being on the Daryl show. I just don't think that's possible. And that's the thing too. Like, why would Rick stay home and not go find Daryl? Like, I know people are going to bring up the argument right away. Well, he's been away from home for too long, so he just wants to spend time with his family. Like, he's been gone too long. I do understand that part, and I get that, but that's not who Rick is. Daryl literally spent years trying to search for him. Rick is going to learn that. Rick's going to learn from Michonne that Daryl literally spent years trying to find you. Daryl went to go and look for you and was out there looking for you for a long time, and now is in France, ended up there, you know, against his will. Rick is going to be like, you know, like, he's going to feel so obligated to go and find Daryl. Like, he's going to. It doesn't matter if Carol's like, no, you stay here. It doesn't matter. Rick is going to go. Like, there's no stopping Rick. He's going to go and try to find Daryl. So that's also a part of it too. Like, if Rick made it back home, why wouldn't he leave? It would just be such a, I don't know. I feel like it would hurt the character overall, to be honest. Q&A, do you think we will get a CRM reference in the last episode? If yes, how do you think it will be done? If we do get one at all, it's going to be really unrelated to anything with Daryl. It would be more of a reference to why Madame Genet was in America, why she had ships there and all of that. Like, that's the only thing I can really think of. If it's not that, I don't know what else it could be. I mean, it could be anything else. It could literally be just like, you know what, we'll go reach out and talk to somebody or something, and maybe there's a symbol revealed or something. But I don't think it's going to be that. If there's any reference at all, they're just going to talk about something in relation to the variant walkers or some sort of connection that they have, kind of thing. Like, I feel like that's probably going to be what the setup is. Q&A, 2 questions, but I'll leave this one separate. Do you think there's any possibility that we'll see America more in the Daryl show? Do you think it's possible that something could happen in season 2 where, for whatever reason, that season 3 could be Daryl and Carol return to America and them trying to get back to Alexandria? I don't think so. I mean, it is called The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon, so you could potentially go back. But I just feel like the actors and stuff are just so excited to be out there, to film out there. I don't see them coming back to America to film anything like that. I just think that that's probably an end game thing. So if this show ends in season 4 or in season 5, that's probably where we'll see that. So I think they're in France for literally the majority of this show. Last question, is there a chance that we won't see much of Rick moving forward in teasers for The Ones Who Live like we did in the first teaser? It feels like in The Walking Dead season 11 and Daryl season 1, there's been a lot of different opportunities to bring him up or tease his return, and it's been avoided. Is it possible that the teasers won't give us a lot of Rick footage, maybe to try and make his reveal that much more insane? That's like the biggest frustration, I think, just with fans, is like, I mean, I get it too. They want to hype up Rick's return. There is something to the fact that, I mean, if you really think about the final scene in season 11, yes, we saw Rick. He didn't really have much dialogue. He was more just reading scripted stuff. And even though that's really cool, and I was so hyped that we got Rick, obviously, it's just so different to actually like see a scene where he's very present and it's not like this past scene, right? Because the stuff with Rick that we got there is set way before season 10, way before Michonne found the boots on that ship, right? So it's that's what I mean. Like, to see Rick in a current timeline thing, having a scene where he's just sort of walking and just being himself, like it's a normal thing where there's no epic music, it's not a part of this whole montage, it's just a normal scene, is going to be so exciting. It's going to be crazy, crazy hyped, right? And in terms of the teasers and sort of holding back that information, that's my biggest question is how much do you show off of Rick, right? I think you can show off a lot more of him, and I hope that they do, because it builds up a lot of hype and interest and intrigue into this show. Like, it's the thing. AMC wants people to watch this show. Like, AMC does. And if you're sort of holding off on that reveal of Rick, even though you kind of confirm that he's going to be in the show, it's just kind of ridiculous. Like, I could see if he was a season 1 cliffhanger sort of ending, like, sort of revealing that at the end, like that'd be really hyped. You know, you sort of keep that stuff sort of hidden or whatever. But the fact that the show is about him, I think you need to show a lot more. I just think what they can't do is they can't tease anything of Rick and Michonne being together. That is way too spoilery. I think that is something that they have to keep completely hidden until the episode releases, because you want that moment to be crazy epic, right? So I think promote Rick and Michonne as much as you can. Just, you know, in terms of their reunion, don't show any footage of them actually together, because that's going to ruin it. It's going to be way too spoilery, right? Q&A, do you think Shane still wants to tell Daryl some things? Oh man, this is the best question ever. It's really funny. Like, there's certain characters where, like, that kind of stuff just never gets old. Like, whenever I see memes of Shane just saying, let me tell you something, or whatever, like, I love it. I love it. Honestly, the Walking Dead memes are amazing, and most of it is from season 2. I noticed, like, all of the best Walking Dead memes are all from season 2. Q&A, do you think you do a good job if AMC ever theoretically reached out to you to become a writer? Oh, man. Do I think I would do a good job? That's really hard to say. Like, that's the thing that I always try to, like, clarify, I feel like, in videos and stuff, is, like, I have a lot of ideas for the show, and I'll get people saying, oh, like, you should be a writer, this and that. I have, like, ideas, or, like, I want the show to go in certain directions, and I really love this universe. Like, I have these ideas and all that, but in terms of being a writer, I just feel like there's just little things in terms of screenwriting and all of that I would have to learn to be able to do that. So I can never say if I'd be good at it. I would work really hard at it, obviously, but I think honestly, I would prefer being a showrunner over a writer, because I would like to plan certain things out and handle a lot of the bigger things in terms of just getting the show up and running and doing all of that and making sure everything makes a lot of sense and just sort of, you know, overlooking the story. Basically what Gimple is doing. I would love to do that. Again, these writers on these shows are absolutely amazing. I don't think I could ever be that good of a writer to be able to work on a show like that. Like, I think going back to season 7 and 8, definitely I could probably be better than a lot of just what was written back then. But, like, no, I would say, you know, for like the best sort of writing and all of that, do not come to me with that. Like, I would try my hardest, and I don't think I would be bad, but I really do not know. I could be the worst writer ever. I could write the worst season in the Walking Dead universe. So, like, yeah, I guess to answer your question, I don't think I would be that good at the job. Q&A, do you think the writers will deliver with a great story with no loose ends, and if they will possibly try to tie up the current loose ends with the Walking Dead universe? I guess, are you just talking about in general? Like, if you're talking about the Daryl Dixon show, there's no way they can really wrap up a lot of loose ends. Like, the show is going to be continuing on for season 2. There's going to be a lot sort of going on with that. In terms of the Walking Dead universe and a lot of those loose ends with a lot of those characters, I think it's kind of a lot to think that they would want to go back to it. Like, I think that there's some stuff that they could do. They could potentially do a spin-off in Alexandria if they wanted to, or the Commonwealth, right? Where you focus on Ezekiel and Aaron, etc. Like, I think if you focus on those characters, then that's possible. You could do a spinoff there. Just get really great writing, and that's all you got to do. Like, if you're looking at the Daryl Dixon show and Dead City, it just confirms that if you have really amazing writing, everything will work. Like, it will actually work out. People will like the characters. Like, look at Isabel. Look at a lot of the characters on Daryl Dixon. People love those characters because, again, a part of it is casting, but it's also, like, the writing is such a big part of it. Q&A, most underrated season of Fear the Walking Dead. Underrated. I would have to say probably season 1 or season 6, because season 1 gets a lot of hate, and I don't really understand why. I mean, I think people are starting to like it more because of just the other seasons, and it's really cool to go back and see some of the early Apocalypse stuff. But I remember when that show came out, everyone hated season 1. Like, no one liked Fear the Walking Dead at all. And I get it, because you compared it to The Walking Dead. It was never going to be as great, and I just think that I really feel like that spinoff, like Fear the Walking Dead, shouldn't have come out. Like, I think now do that spinoff. Back then, it was just a lot. They shouldn't have done any Walking Dead spinoffs back then. And the last question here, there's a lot more questions here, so I'll get to that in a second Q&A video. But Q&A, how do you see Jadis' story ending? She became a bad guy again in World Beyond, but before that, she was good and saves Rick. So we'd have to see her turn evil here. If we don't, then the ones who live would be behind World Beyond, and that would mean Jadis can't die here. This is another reason why this needs to get a second season, and then Red Machete Rick should just murder her. Well, I think that, you know, in terms of Jadis and her story ending, like, I know in World Beyond, she seemed like a villain. She always seems like a villain. Even on The Walking Dead, she seemed like a villain. Like, she's always going back and forth. So to me, to think that in The Ones Who Live, you know, like, is there a chance that she could actually be good? Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I could totally see her being good because that lines up with the character. She probably will be. There's going to be times where she goes back and forth. Like, it just makes absolute sense. So I think that that's probably going to get her killed, though, in the end. I really do think that because of, I mean, when I really view the character, she's just an unlikable character, like, not in terms of like a writing perspective or anything like that. She's a really awesome character. It's just in terms of, you know, as a person, like, she has no loyalty at all. And I think that Rick is going to be very upset that Jadis didn't bring him to the hilltop or Alexandria to be helped, right? She just took him to the CRM and, like, completely traded him away in order to gain power and all that. So Rick might use her in a sense to maybe get some information and whatever. But I think overall, she's going to be seen as a villain, and I don't think Rick is going to trust her anymore. And I think that's why she's probably going to die. All of these, you know, like, she's only loyal to herself, and I think that is what's going to get her killed overall. But last question here, because I did see it a second part. How do you predict The Ones Who Live to end? My theory is Rick overtakes the CRM by the end with Michonne. End credit scene, Rick gets a message, which is someone overtook New York, and yes, it's Negan. Then we get Rick's death stare and screen cuts to black. That would just be amazing. Honestly, I feel like if that happened, that'd be so cool because it would be a whole Rick versus Negan thing again. I mean, I think the problem with that is if Negan took over New York, you would hope that it's enough people to deal with the CRM. And even if it was, they probably wouldn't stand a chance because of just what the Civic Republic has in terms of helicopters and weapons and everything. Like, there's just no way. So I don't see, you know, in terms of my prediction, I don't see Rick overtaking the CRM in that way. I think if they want to go down that route at some point, they could. I really feel like the way Rick and Michonne's story should end, if I had a choice anyways, is I would really like Rick to be able to, I guess, become some sort of leader within the Civic Republic. He gets recognition and maybe he gets his statue, because I do want to get that. We never got that, right? Like the Rick Grimes statue. I do want to see that one day. It's just, just when are they going to do it kind of thing. Could they do it at the end of The Ones Who Live? We'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, I think Rick, no matter what, it's going to get some sort of heroic ending. And I see the character surviving everything. I don't know if he would become a leader in the Civic Republic. I would like that. I don't want him to be the leader. I would want someone else to be the leader. But, you know, to be just like a leader of some sorts, just something, you know, where he sort of discusses some things in terms of what you should do or whatever. Like, I would like that. I think that'd be a really cool ending. But anyways, I'm gonna leave it here. Definitely post your thoughts down below. Comic-Con starts in a couple of hours from now, at least the Walking Dead panel. So yeah, I'll be live for that. Hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.